exciting episode of Primal Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dale.
And I'm Kane the Schwab Watson.
Yes, today's lineup. As usual, we'll start with a review of what took place in the week. And today we'll have a very special guest. He's a legend in table tennis, one of the world's best table tennis players from the 70s and the 80s, Desmond Douglas. We will be speaking with him at 5 minutes past the hour. Now, at the midway point, we'll have Peter Mouyang with his controversial takes in sports commentary. And at the end, we'll have our open discussion with Daniel Dowie will join us for that segment there. And the phone lines will be open, and the numbers to call via WhatsApp.
1-876-552-7406. And we're on Facebook Live.
Yes, Kane. So let us review what took place in the week. First of all, let us big up young Sene Lewis. You know, she won her first international title at Broward, the Broward Open in Florida. Yes, so she has been playing well, Kane. Young under 15 table tennis champion of Jamaica, Sene Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, one bright for the future, you know, we have to drop in table tennis at any even juncture because we're table tennis people first. We love sports, but we want to get table tennis back on the forefront of, we mentioned earlier, the 70s and 80s, table tennis is a big thing, and hopefully young Sene Lewis going forward will fly the flag high, because I know she has a lot of prospects, a lot of talents, and she has backing, and we see where...
She has a good management team behind her as well. And
her sister as well, we can't leave out her sister. Sister, young Lewis is doing good things for Jamaica.
Yes. So now on to the big event, Kane, on Sunday. I was disturbed somewhat. Formula One racing.
Yeah, last week we had predictions.
A controversial ending to that race. You know, what are your thoughts on how that race ended?
I mean, with sports, I think in life things have some political, diplomatic ties to it, because I don't understand what took place. I mean, Lewis Hamilton had it in the bag, and then on the last lap, controversy boss. We'll give us more on that later, because, you know, even like the controversy, and that was a controversial race. But I thought myself, Lewis Hamilton had it in the bag, but credit to Verstappen. I mean, he crossed the finish line first and won his first title. Yeah. I mean, Lewis Hamilton was going for the record number 8. We've seen him being knighted this week. I mean, but losing that, the appeal, and they took away the appeal. But
and I don't think Lewis recovered all knowing. I think it still is a.
It must be lingering, but I should he'll bounce back.
No, he will be back, but I'm very disappointed. Even in Formula One, I'm saying such a blunder by the director of the race. Yeah. It seems as if some collusion between Red Bull and the director of the race, based on the statement that was made.
In Jamaican terms, money run under the table.
Not quite. I wouldn't really say that.
I wouldn't say that, but I mean, it just looks.
It was very
spooky
for the Red Bull principal to come out and ask and tell, or ask, whichever way you want to put it, and ask the director of the race, which is Massey, can we get rid of the lap cars out of the way? Can't you remove them?
Yeah.
And then he went on to say, all we need is just one lap.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right. Yeah.
Sounds like...
No, that's very, that kind of
there was a loophole and an advantage, and the Red Bull team, I wouldn't say took that advantage, but to be given that advantage, that just, by the directors, that sounds like...
And what was so fishy about it, the race director made a statement early on saying that no cars would be allowed to overtake. And upon Red Bull realizing that the race would have ended with the car in front, the safety car in front, they went and called the race director. And pleading to the race director. And then the race director changed his argument. Saying that he will now allow the cars between Max and Lewis to unlock themselves. But what about the cars between Max and Carlos, who was in third place? You know, so it was very it's
And
kind
then
of
the tires and not changing the tires.
yeah, because
Stopping off in faster
I
tires
I
on the
think I
last
think
lap.
Mercedes made a calculated decision based on what was it's 5 laps to go. They realized that Lewis would have won because the safety car. There's no way they're gonna get the safety car off the track in time. So it was. I thought it was, and the fact that the race director him don't step down yet. This could have never happened in NASCAR in America. This could have never happened in any American sports now because you have to be held accountable.
Yeah. Somebody have
to bite the bullet.
Yep. Somebody have to feel it.
Yes.
But it
Very disturbing. And I tell you this, I will not watch Formula One until him step down. I will not watch Formula One until the race.
You'll watch Formula One.
It's restarting in March on March 20th.
Yeah.
But I've made my decision. No, that's
But it was
blatant.
it's a big blunder.
Blatant.
I mean, sports is full of drama, and that's what makes sports entertaining.
Yeah.
Sports
But
entertainment. So
even now I feel it, you know.
Yeah, it's good
even
for
now,
TV,
even
but-
now.
I mean,
But let us leave that right there. No, we see that the COVID situation is affecting sports right around the world. And we see where the
again.
NBA, even though they have 90% vaccination of the players, 97% of the players are vaccinated, but they're all contracting the virus. So, you know, it's hitting football as well.
Yeah, in England, a lot of them. Well, one match is slated to play.
Yeah.
All the rest of the matches, even during the week, were postponed.
Yeah.
So COVID is hitting sports again. After it seems like everything was kind of getting back to the new normal. Seeing it affecting us again in a big way. Not being able to go out there and play. Not being able to watch these players in their prime playing. Hopefully, this doesn't last long. I mean, especially in the Christmas season now, it probably can affect other things in life because we are all affected by it. But
And the gathering and so forth that takes place during the festive season.
as you say, NBA,
Yeah.
leagues in Europe. So
Yeah, and good. The only good point, the only good thing that's coming out of this is that Kyrie will return. Mr. Irving is set to play only road games. And
look at that. The franchise willing to throw him under the bus. I know they're short-term players. I know they're ready to draft him back.
They're carrying him back right in.
That means the individual really and truly is just at mercy of the organized, the owners and all of that. But that's why you have players association and all that. But
so
that's why we lobby for player power. Players to have power.
Which is right.
Players should have some more power because Kyrie Irving basically able to lose all this money, able not being able to play.
And now they're drawing back for him because the NBA, the team has been hit
with
heavily.
COVID.
You know, James Harden has been out with the COVID protocol. I think Johnson is out. A number of players is out. Paul is out as well.
All these players are vaccinated.
Yes.
And the unvaccinated Kyrie Irving
will be allowed to play road games.
Road games because the vaccinated players contract COVID.
Yes. I you know that guy named Steve Nash. I didn't think that he deserved to be the coach for New Jersey. But we'll get into that later in our open discussion in our final segment. But now we have to welcome this special guest. This man is an 11 times British national table tennis champion, bronze medal winner in 1978 European Championship. No.
European Junior Champion as well.
No, this man is an icon. He opened the doors and paved the way for the black race, I would say, for a lot of Caribbean players and also African players,
all across the world.
Yes, so I want to welcome to Primal Sports Talk the big man himself, Sir Desmond Douglas.
Hold up, when I'm hearing it, Des. I think you're muted.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for that introduction. Thank you.
All right. Yes, Mr. Douglas, Mr. Desmond Douglas. As we start off, tell us about your early life in table tennis.
Oh, gosh. Well, I started off at a play centre in Aston Park in Birmingham, just over the road from Aston Villa Football Club. And in the play centre, you'd play many sort of different sports. One of them just happened to be table tennis. So I got hooked on this game. Many of us around the table, we play a game called Donkey, and you just pick up any piece of wood or any brick and get around the table, Donkey. the two guys who were left in would play a game up to 11. And that was sort of my introduction to table tennis.
Oh.
And then later on, when I went to school, secondary school, I just picked it up by luck in the dinner hour. I was at that time I was better at football and cricket than table tennis. And then in the dinner hour, we got the table tennis tables to put on the desks because the tables didn't have legs. So that's why they could go on the desks. And then behind us was the blackboard. So you couldn't go off the table, otherwise you bump into the blackboard. So that's how I sort of developed my close to the table style.
Okay.
You're known for that style.
Yes, but before we get into the meat of the whole conversation in terms of table tennis, I want to talk about your Jamaican roots first. You know, a lot of people been asking me, is Desmond Douglas really a Jamaican? Where is he from? You know, tell us about the early childhood in Jamaica.
Born in St. Catherine, Jamaica. I left when I was 5, 1960. My parents went to England. I stayed with family for a little while, and then I came over to England with my auntie. So I know very little of Jamaica. I didn't go to school in Jamaica.
Okay.
Everything was done in England. The biggest thing I remember coming to England is the snow. I didn't know what snow was. It was just this white thing, and I saw everybody throwing it. And when I touched it and started to throw it, it was good. But then my fingers started to burn. And then the worst thing you can do is go and put it on a heater. And it burnt me so much. I said, never, ever again will I ever touch snow. And that was my sort of first sort of, introduction to England and what it was like. It was an extreme, going from, unbelievable hot to unbelievable cold. And then, as I said, the rest of my life, I went to school in England, primary school, junior school. And then, I worked a little bit as a bus mechanic on the transport, not for many years, 5 or 6 years. They saw that I was good at table tennis. So they moved me out of the garage into the office where I do crib, darts, and that's to protect my hands. Because I played for the table tennis team, you see, the transport. Well, of course, we were winning everything, you see. So the other teams didn't really stand a chance. And then my big break was in 77 when the World's Championships was in Birmingham, and the Germans saw me, Dusseldorf saw me. And then I think I lost first round to Secretan from France. But they were impressed by what they saw, and they said, would I like to come and play in Germany? For me, that was a massive risk because I didn't speak German. I didn't know who, the plays in Germany. So I had to go back and have a big think. But one weekend, when I had a weekend free, I flew over. They offered me terms. And then I decided I would take a gamble. And that's where it all started in Germany for me. And I was there for 8 years. 5 of the 8 we were league champions. So they were very pleased. And they were disappointed when I said I wanted to go because they didn't push me. I decided to go because I just thought the traveling, and I just thought it was catching up with me, backwards and forwards, league matches, tournaments in England, international tournaments, training camps. The body and the mind can only take so much before you start to feel burnout, you see. So I just thought maybe that's the time for me to leave. And then no sooner I'd done that, about a year or two later, I won the European Top 12. The best players in Europe all get together, round robin, no ducking and diving. Everybody play all.
Yeah.
And the person with the most wins wins. And I was fortunate to win the European Top 12.
Oh.
Desmond, that club was Dusseldorf. You played for Dusseldorf?
Yes.
That's the same club Timo Ball plays for,
But
Yes,
before,
that's right.
before you
That's
reach
right.
there, before 1977, you had no formal training? You didn't...
Right. I left school at 16 and I didn't go to any camps or anything. I went to the odd tournament, say 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. But remember, I was only sort of playing at school. I didn't.
wow.
So I came from nowhere. And so by the time I left at 16, at 17, I was playing international, junior international. Well, that's a massive, from going to school, from playing very little table tennis to be, playing for England. The next year, when I was nearly 18, I lost in the final of the European Youths, but me and Linda Jarvis won the mixed doubles.
Yeah.
So I came from nowhere.
Wow.
When I went, when I won the first English senior in '75, I was still working,
Yeah.
which is crazy because really, if I'm working and the others are playing full time, there's no way somebody who's working should beat somebody who's playing full time.
That is true.
Yes.
So for me, it's just just massive strides, which is even I couldn't take it in. It was just so quick. But you just have to go with it and just carry on doing the best you can.
Yes, that's extraordinary. Because we know how difficult table tennis is, and for you to just come out of nowhere, just playing a little backyard table tennis and become within 2 years' time, you're European best. You win the top 12 in Europe. That's extraordinary. That's trust me.
So Desmond,
Well,
tell us about your first big breakthrough. Who was the first established player that you beat?
somebody said, I can't remember this. I think when I just started out for England, I beat Kjell Johansson, who played for Sweden.
Johansson.
Yeah, but I can't remember it. But that's what I did. I beat Kjell Johansson.
Wow.
He was a world champion?
No, he was on the team with Bengtsson. It was Bengtsson, Johansson, and Hans Alzer.
Yeah.
So you beat Kjell. He used to call him the Hammer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He lost in the final of the 73 Worlds in
Tianjin. I
Sarajevo,
remember.
Yugoslavia, to Xianting.
Yes,
China.
I remember that match. Fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
And who were, tell me some of your more memorable victories, Des. I remember when you came to Jamaica in 76 or thereabouts, or 77, and you beat Dragutin Srbek and Joshen Lice and Peter Stelwag and all those guys.
Yeah. I think the first time I came to Jamaica, I was so overwhelmed by the people, the reception I got. It was fantastic.
Yes.
I lost first round to Danny Seemiller, awkward American.
Yes.
Then I came back, and as you said, I beat a lot of good players, Lice, Stelwag, Srbek in the final. And the final was fantastic.
I remember
people
that.
just shouting and screaming. It was a fantastic table tennis game.
Yes.
And that's what table tennis should be all about. A good entertainment sport, good spectacle. The public go home thinking, yes, I've seen a fantastic match. Want to come back, get involved, and see more. Yeah.
We saw some still pictures from that, and there were at least 20,000 people in the arena. It was like the ground floor and the top floor. It was full to the rafters. And I remember that final with Srbek. You had Srbek running all over the place.
Yes. Well, as I said, my start is close to the table, so I've got to be the controller. The others, I make them run and trying to make the wide and wide and wide. So in the end, they're having to cover so much ground to play a good stroke. And then when they've left the other side open, I've just got to put the ball in there. And, as long as the ball's on the table, I've got a good chance to win the point. So just keeping it simple.
What made you decide to play that style of table tennis? Because that was unique at that time. What made you decide to?
Because when I grew up, most people had forehands, no backhands. I was the other way around. I had a good backhand, but not a good forehand. So me being a lefty, I'm thinking there's not many lefties. Most people are righties. If I can play down the line, backhand to backhand, their backhands are rubbish. So they've got to run round to play the forehand. When they run round, I play cross court. Yeah. Now the table opens up because now most people play cross court. So their forehand would be to my backhand. My backhand down the line, they play weak backhand. My forehand then I'm in control of the rally. So just to keep it very simple. I was more of a rally player and very quick over the table.
I have to tell this story, if only to record it for posterity. But in 2002, we were at the Commonwealth Games. The Jamaica team was there in Manchester. And you came by in your sweater and you were wearing loafers and long pants. And you came and played the English team in practice and beat Terry Young and Garrett Herbert and Alan Cook right in front of us. Do you remember that?
No, I can remember going in Manchester, but I can't remember playing them.
I was amazed. Desmond Douglas, who hadn't played in years in 2002, was beating up the entire English national team. Who would have been, Des, I want your opinion. You've played some of the best players who ever lived. Who would have been the best player you ever played?
I would say possibly it has to be the Chinese. I would say Guo Yuhua, China. Okay, we saw him when he was a junior. He came to England. The next year we saw him, he was in the 77 Worlds final.
Yeah.
He was a fantastic player. He got to 3 Worlds. That's like 6 years. And he lost to Ono in 77. Then I think in 79, he lost to, it was Ono, then Kono, and then the third one he won. He lost to Ono in Pyongyang.
It was Kono first in 77 and Ono in 79.
Correct.
Yes.
And then the third one he won.
He won the third one.
Yes.
And he would have been the best you ever played.
Yeah. It's hard to say the best, but one of the best. I mean, the Chinese.
But we cannot ask you, Desmond. I had to ask you this. There's a debate over who is the greatest player of all time. And you've seen them all, right? So who do you think?
At this particular time,
yes,
I would say Ma Long, without a doubt. He's a machine. He's a machine.
Yes.
And he just produces time and time after again. Everybody said it was Waldner. It was Waldner. Fantastic hand, fantastic player. But this guy, he's a machine. You watch his performances. You know, he doesn't lie down. He performs every time. And you look how long he's been a world champion. You know, he's unbelievable. Yeah, he's just an absolute machine.
Okay.
All right, so there's the Chinese, the dominance of the Chinese. Well, Asia overall, over the past maybe let's say 60 years, they have won maybe everything in the past 40, 50 years at the World Championship. What can the rest of the world do to bridge that gap?
You have to look at that.
It's just running away right now, and it's just all Chinese finals. Instead of setting the draw like what they did the last World Championship, instead of setting the draw, what can the rest of the world do to raise the level?
I think you just have to try to learn from them. I think the first thing you've got to remember that there's more people to choose from. You know, because China's massive, and they're very brutal with their players. I don't know in Europe if we would be allowed to do what they do. Their players, they're very brutal, and the way they train, the way they play, it's very, very difficult to sort of play like that. You know, in Europe you tend to have more flair players, you know, nice balls, but they're brutal. The way they play, and normally they don't last very long because of the way they play. But there's always somebody to take over. That's what we noticed. But Ma Long has been there for a long time, which is unusual. That is rare. But most of them don't last that long.
Des, are you still involved in the game?
No, I just coach at local level because it used to be called English Table Tennis Association. Now it's called Table Tennis England. So new people have taken over, and they've got different ideas. So I'm not really involved in that anymore.
We have a friend who's up there and he's coaching alongside you. His name is Rohan Schloss. I don't know if you remember, man. We have to apologize for sending him to you. We were trying to get him a long time. So what do you think of Rohan?
Yes, I've had a hit with Rohan. He's quite good. He wanted me to have a look at his backhand. He thought his backhand wasn't that good. I thought he was.
Well, we couldn't do much for him here, Des. We couldn't do much for him here. We had him on the sides peeling oranges and stuff. So I'm glad you can help him out, please.
Yeah, I saw him every year. I go down to London at the Fusion Table Tennis Club, and he's one of the coaches. And when I get a little bit of time, I have a hit with everybody. And we were just having a hit. And I said, you're not so bad at all.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. I'll tell you why he'll do well. He will knock with anybody. He has no ears about him. And I hear you're the same. You will hit with other people. So that's great.
Yes. I treat everybody with respect, and I play everybody, and you just treat them as as people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I'm just glad to have a hit.
So I see you got an MBE from the Queen. Do I address you as Sir Desmond or Lord Desmond? Or Duke Desmond? What is it?
Peter, I never really use it. It's a MBE, member of the British Empire. And it was one of the best days of my life, but it was very nerve-wracking because you go into this room, all fantastic photos of, kings and queens and that. And the guy who comes up to talk to you is, one of his gear, like an army, like he's going to ride a horse. Everything's perfect and clean. It tells you the procedure when you go up to the Queen. You walk so far, you bow, you take 3 steps forward. You don't talk unless she talks to you.
Wow.
She puts a medal on. You've got to walk 3 steps back, bow, and then go. It's a lot of things to remember. But I was just happy I wasn't the first one. Because I would
So you got the procedure right.
Yes, I got it right. That was my main thing, because I didn't want to let myself, a family, table tennis down. I wanted to do everything correct by the book.
Yes.
And she had a few brief words with me, but I was really shocked. But yeah, it was a great day. It was a great day.
Desmond, I've always had the fastest player I ever played in life was Dingy from China. And I discovered I played him, and I discovered on YouTube that you actually played Dingy and beat him. What was it like?
No,
I mean, you beat the fastest man in China, and you know, you're just a guy from this side of the world. How was that?
I didn't beat him. I can't remember beating him, but I came out of retirement in 94, 95.
Yes.
I played him, so I was making a comeback, and it was a ridiculous game. It's on YouTube. I was 2-0 up, but I couldn't find a knockout punch. You know, you're hitting this guy and he keeps getting up. He wouldn't lie down. I was 2-love up, and in the end I lost 3-2. But it was a ridiculous game. Really, it was a very, very quick game.
Yes.
But he's a great player. He's from Austria. He's playing for Austria now.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us, compare the modern game and the game that you guys played back in the days. That's a question that somebody from the Facebook page asked me to.
I would say our game was like a marathon, because you're up to 21. You could be 11-4, 12-3 down. You got a chance to win. Playing up to 11 now, you've got to be out the blocks very quickly and keep that momentum going. There's more pressure points because it's only up to 11. Mm-hmm. The other big thing is the balls are bigger now. It's a bigger ball, and bigger sweet spot on the bat. Everybody's playing with carbon. It's a lot quicker. There's not as much spin because the ball is so big. But I think they've made too many changes. They should have made it gradually. I would have preferred 21 to 15, and I would have preferred maybe a slightly bigger ball and a slightly higher net, and the bats are standard. No more gluing. But they've made a lot of changes, and you know they want a spectator sport, but I think you're losing spin now. It's just speed and you know, bam, bam, bam.
There's no craft in the game anymore.
Correct. Right. If you're a defensive player, you can't get the spin because these bigger balls aren't as spinny as a little ball. So you've lost a bit of something. But on the other side, it's on TV more now because there's more critical points rather than waiting till 18-17, which is a long game. Yeah. So, you know, there's good and bad, but I prefer 21. That's how I grew up. On 21, and I'm a purist, you know. So I think the man with the most skill should win. And if it was me, I wouldn't allow materials. I'd make it like tennis. You all play with the same thing. Everything's standard.
One level person.
The person, yes, level playing field. The person with the most skill wins. Yeah. And there's no argument.
Because different type of rubbers. I mean, some people boost their rubbers. Different blades, carbons. I mean,
Desmond, is there any? I mean, you're knocking about England and so on. Who's going to be the next exciting player from England?
No idea at this moment. I watch the seniors. I mean, Pitchford is good. Yeah. I was knocking up with Pitchford when he was about 11. Yeah. So then we knew he had potential. I saw Paul Drinkle when he was 8. Darius Knight, I think he's working now. He was good. Yeah. But Pitchford, he's got, you know, I think he could do better than what he's doing, a little bit better. Drinkle's still there. Then you've got Sam Walker. Mm-hmm. He's in a team. Next one down will be Tom Jarvis. Yeah. But Pitchford's the guy. Pitchford's he's good. He's good.
Yeah. Pitchford is world class.
I played Pitchford in Commonwealth games, and his backhand is.
His backhand's fantastic.
It's lethal, heavy.
Yeah, Liam's backhand's fantastic. He's good. He's good.
And I agree with you. I think he can move up the world rankings and be a top 10 player.
Yes.
Yeah. Like yourself, because I heard that your highest rank is number 4 in the world ever.
I think 7.
7-4, it's not much difference, but to reach top 10 is I mean, you have the Chinese and then
Yes.
you have number 7. So number 7 is basically the number 1 outside of the Chinese. So to me, you're probably the number 1 player outside of China, which is still a huge work because we know China is dominant, and to reach top 10 in any sport is levels.
Yeah, all I can do is just set a certain level, and then the others have got a bar, and they can take the bar higher. So they've got something to aim at. So that's all I did.
Yeah.
So Des, I need to ask you, when last you come Jamaica?
Oh gosh, I came back in '88 with my mum because Haslam then, Orville Haslam was running the Jamaican table tennis, I think.
Ah, yes.
He invited me and John Hilton, Fiona Elliott to come over to play against the Jamaican team. So I was there for about 10 days, and I brought my mother, and she went and see some folks.
Yeah.
So that was the last time I came.
There's still no snow in Jamaica. You should come back. Still no snow. It's hot, but I think
I'm glad it's hot.
yeah.
Yeah, so I have another question for you. This is from our great friend here, Mike. He was asking which other from table tennis, which other sport you could have played at a high level.
I don't know at a high level, but I thought I was better at football and cricket than table tennis. Table tennis wasn't my sport. I just found it by luck.
But Desmond, with the reflexes you would have made a great goalkeeper or a wicket keeper.
No, I don't know about that.
Striker.
The reaction you had was so great, was so quick.
Yeah. You see, with my mentality, I'm always looking for the easiest way. So for me, the closer the table was better than running around or being a defender.
Yes.
I'm looking for the easiest way to win the point and play.
I don't know if you remember a Jamaican player called Dennis Duncan, but he told me a story about you. I don't know if it's true. You were in Jamaica playing, and the ball went into the crowd, and a lady was handing the ball to you, and something fell like an earring, and you caught the earring. Is that a true story? Is that a true story?
I'm not that quick.
Well, Dennis Duncan told me that story.
Boy, there's a lot of stories about Sir Douglas.
Because first when I came up in table tennis, I heard the name like Black Flash, and I'm like, oh,
yes,
Black Flash. And I'm like, huh? And then I saw clips of you, and trust me, you were quick.
Yeah, you were quick.
Yeah, I mean, everybody says my style, it's unique because nobody plays so close
to the table,
apart from the Chinese. But that was always my style. That was my trademark. And for me, it's the only way to play. As I said, I have to be the controller. And if you're going to beat me, you're either going to have to be faster than me, or you're going to have to slow me down. And that's what people tend to do, to slow me down and to pick the ball up slow and all these things to try to break the rhythm, you see, and talk
Stall
to me.
the game.
Yes.
Sound familiar.
Yes, Sir Douglas, you're a living legend, man. You're an icon, and you have inspired a lot of Caribbean and African players. And I will tell you this, I saw a player, well, we all know this player, died a couple of years ago. May his son rest in peace. Dexter St. Louis from Trinidad.
That's right, he was playing in France.
St. Louis, he's a carbon copy of exactly the way you play. He walks just like you.
Left-handed.
The timing of the shots. And when I say walk like you, even when going to the bar for the ball, everything is the same.
It's true.
And he's known to be, well, for me, in my opinion, he's the greatest Caribbean player of all time.
Maybe we should have played doubles.
Who lefties? I don't know.
Yes.
That would have been, legendary.
You're a legend in the sport, and I tell you, every sport have that one person that break down barriers and open up doors, And in the 70s, I can only think about two persons. One would be Lee Elder. You know the name Lee Elder. He's the first black golfer to participate in the Masters in 1975, and the next great one is Sir Douglas of the 70s, as being the only black man amongst the Asians and the white race. You have inspired a lot of us.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, the whole Jamaica table tennis is watching. From the guys from the 60s and 70s, they're all tuning into Primal Sports right now.
my icons has always been your people. Like, you don't see many black people playing in like golf or tennis. So golf would be your Tiger. You know, for me, he's unbelievable. What he did is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then you've got your Lewis Hamilton. Then you've got the West Indies cricket team, that sort of thing. So even although I lived in England most of my life, I still tend to follow and see what those guys do. Boxing, I'm crazy on boxing.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw Mike Tyson, I thought he's brutal. He doesn't need the referee. He will settle the fight. That sort of thing. You know, I grew up Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali. So I try to watch as much as I can and just educate myself on different sports.
But Sir Douglas, well, it was a pleasure speaking with you today. We're a little bit out of time right now.
Thanks for having me.
So from the Primal sports team, thanks for coming on.
And thanks to your manager, John, for setting this up, and Ron Schloss as well. All right, Des?
We would love to
Thank you. It's been my pleasure, gentlemen. Nice speaking to you.
Jamaica is open. Anytime you want to come to Jamaica, we're here.
You have an open invitation to come and help us here in Jamaica.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, Des.
Thank you, Sir Douglas.
You take care. You take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That was the living legend, Sir Desmond Douglas. Now time for sports commentary with controversial boss Peter Mouyong. Let's go.
Greetings, everyone. Again, today's sports commentary going. Usually I go through a whole range of topics for sports commentary, but I only got a few topics now. And we just mentioned one of them. Tiger Woods. Everybody loves a comeback story. I wasn't all that big a fan of Tiger Woods, but I like the fact that he was a black man coming up against a white sport. You can't be whiter than golf, maybe lawn tennis, eh? But when Tiger had that accident 8 months ago, I was sure that was the end of him. I saw him trying to make a comeback, and now I find myself in the uncomfortable position of having bet against Tiger. I'm rooting for Tiger. What could be greater than a Tiger Woods comeback? I saw Tiger 3 days ago, I think, playing, and he's almost there. I still don't think he'll get there, but I'm rooting for Tiger. Speaking of rooting for, there's another team called the West Indies. We're so used to these guys losing that usually when West Indies is playing, we are, most West Indies test matches, we end up hoping for rain. Well, this time, not much has changed. We're hoping for COVID because Pakistan was giving us a right drubbing, 3-0. And then came the COVID. So we looked to the heavens and they sent us COVID this time. Just to break it up. We keep on getting rain saving us. Now, the last thing I'm going to comment on this week, there's lots of things to comment on, but I have to talk about F1. But from a different angle. Yes, we saw what they did, and there's no doubt that Lewis Hamilton was hard done by the people who organized it. You speak about third place, but when the only thing between first and second is 5 cars, and the administrators move those 5 cars out of the way, but then it's also important to the guy in third place. Why didn't they move the cars out of the way for the third place guy and the fourth place guy and the fifth place guy? You realize how ridiculous it was what took place in Formula F1. And that brings me to the main reason why I'm talking here. Kane Watson. I'm probably the oldest guy ever won the National Table Tennis Championships, and one day you'll probably get there. But there's a problem we have in sports, which is called the passage of youth. China have that problem. The problem is that there's a guy who's champion, Wang Hao. There's a guy who's champion, Wang Liqin. And somehow we find a way to ease these guys out to allow the young guys to come on. Now, all my life, I've been the oldest guy. I played the national finals 4 months ago against Simon Tomlinson. And I will tell you guys now, and you will debate it, I felt guilty. I felt guilty because if I put in the real Peter Mouyong, things can happen, but I felt guilty. And there's a phrase called the passage of youth. Sports should not be about the passage of youth. There's no need for Wang Hao to retire. There's no need for Ma Long to retire. Let them come and take it. This world championship, for me, was a letdown. I think Desmond is still on the line. I don't like the fact that Ma Long did not play this world championship, simply because we're making way for the next guy. And so the other day I found myself in an uncomfortable position. If I go and win, the media is going to say, what is this old man doing? Desmond Douglas had to sit down because if Desmond kept playing, he would have won 4 years later in his career. This passage of youth is not a good thing. You got to beat the man who is the man to be the man. That's my feeling about it. And I feel a way about it because F1 this year, Lewis Hamilton had 7 championships, was well on his way within 1 lap of having his 8th. But this refreshing and this need to have the new guy, Max Verstappen, had the assistance of the administrators. I'm putting it to you. He had the assistant of administrators because they wanted the passage of youth. They want to crown a new champion. They want to crown a new champion so badly, they get rid of the old champ. I'm not in favor of that. Kane Watson, you beat me in the national finals. Back when did you beat me? We played the national finals a couple years ago. You beat me. You are the man. You took it from me on this day. And I give you props for that. But ain't nobody, you know me. I'm the guy I'm the gatekeeper, you know. You got to beat me to be the man. But I don't like this idea of taking the thing from Lewis Hamilton, who was recently knighted by the Queen. And you know that Desmond Douglas also got a medal from the Queen. But he had to, Lewis Hamilton had a sword put to his throat and rise Lewis Hamilton. And we should have asked Desmond if he had a sword put to his throat. I get nervous, a white man take a sword and put to my, I said, right, I ain't doing it. But yeah, I come back to sports commentary. And all I'm saying is here, what I think I saw last week was the passage of youth, the anointing of a champion. Champions aren't anointed. Champions are like Mike Tyson. You come and knock the man out and the champion is lying on the ground and you the champ. That's what I like about sports. And what I don't like about last week, I think that Max Verstappen was anointed. Done with the anointment thing. And that's coming true for this week. What say you?
Yes, I totally agree with your point, Peter. It was planned, similar to what? Wrestling, WWE? I hear somebody say similar to WWE. It was staged, you know?
Yes, it was staged.
It was staged, and I'm very disappointed. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. But very disappointed.
Well, back to what Peter said about
the passage of youth.
Passage of youth and having young guns and old guns go. But you have to understand, we look at it from sports from a player's perspective. We are the players. But then again, sports in a whole has more facets to it.
Yeah,
true. The media and marketing like the passage of youth. I'm going to give you that.
Netflix.
And the thing is, sports is entertainment. Sports is a drama series.
Yes.
So if they keep seeing Peter Young win, they won't want to
And I think that's why I'm to Lewis Hamilton.
Precisely.
Hold on. We still have Desmond Douglas. Desmond, can you unmute your mic? I want to hear you. Desmond Douglas.
Yes, hang on.
Sir Desmond, what do you were you kind of pressured to come out of the game because they wanted to make way for young people?
No, I thought I was getting too old.
So you went when you wanted to go.
And the camaraderie between old and young. So that's why I retired. But then I came back. And to play, you know, the Europeans, and I lost to Ding Yi. But funny enough, when I came back, I went to China because of the younger players couldn't go, and I beat the world champion, who was Lu Guliang, who's a Chinese coach.
You beat Lu Guliang?
Yeah, I came back to beat him in 95.
Damn, Desmond!
Which year was this? Which year?
It was 95. The world's in Tianjin, China.
Wow.
That's a major achievement.
That's the year Gulian and Kang played the finals in the World Championship as well.
I think so. Yeah. So
high level.
I went like as a reserve because one of the guys was sick, you see, so I shouldn't have played. I played him in the team, and a lot of people were shocked, but I thought it was just styles. My style against his style.
And so, anybody who knows table tennis, Lu Guliang ain't no chicken. That man is
that man is not going to allow you to win.
That man is
one of the best servers of all time.
That's right.
Lu Guliang is legit.
Michel Save from Belgium, he come up and shook my hand and says, "Fantastic win." That's never happened. He couldn't believe it.
That's a big win.
But Sir Des, you being a lefty and Gulian is a righty serving under the hand.
You could see that, sir.
How could you predict that? How could you?
But the way I approach it, he's a shorty, right? He's got to get his forehand in, right? He's got to cover a lot of table. So backhand down the line. How's he going to get his forehand in? He's a shorty. My backhand against
Karkasovic beat him the same way.
Alexander Karkasovic.
Alexander, yes.
And then you play wide to the forehand, and then he has to move out there, and then the next ball down the backhand, he has to play like that.
Yeah.
My forehand hooking him is pulling him out.
Yeah.
So
The phone line. We'd like to remind callers that the phone lines are now open, so you can call in on WhatsApp. Kane, what's the numbers again?
The number is 1-876-552-7406. And that's via WhatsApp only. Yeah.
And maybe you can get to ask her there's a question.
But back to what I was saying, Peter. We look at this because we're kings of the hill.
Yeah.
But from a media standpoint and from
They want to
director standpoint, the president of the association probably is like, yo, we need to get more people in.
Yeah.
Media is probably like, oh, they're tired for seeing people
Younger
on top.
audience.
So there's
Hold on, we have a call coming in.
Hold up, a call's coming in.
Hello, caller.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Primal Sports.
Yes, man. Good afternoon, Peter. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I recognize this voice. This is Keith Garvey, former president of the association. Listen, we have Sir Desmond Douglas on the phone. Would you like to ask Sir Desmond a question? And I'll send you a bill later.
I have first of all, I have to commend you guys on your shirts this week. I mean,
okay.
Looks very good on television. Much better than that white shirt. You know?
well, today is the Kingston College edition. These two guys went to KC, so today is the KC edition. All right.
Right. No, man, looking really well. But I just want to comment on. I hope the listeners who are watching see how humble Desmond Douglas is.
Yes.
I think that is key to achieving anything in life. And all the great ones who I know, both in sports and from a professional standpoint, that is a common denominator. That all of them have that humbleness about them and that greatness. I mean, the last thing Des mentioned about Lou Goulion, he didn't even mention it in his
that was a shocker to me. Yeah.
Right, and that is, that may be the greatest player that he has ever tramped over, on standard and world level. And that just shows you the man that he is, So
I agree.
I want to commend Des, in terms of how humble he is, and the richness of what he brought to the program today. So that is it when it comes on to Des, and we hope to see, he's looking good. We hope to see. I'd love to come and watch him playing down by your club, Peter.
Well, we sent him an invitation. And the thing I learned, you're saying, Keith, that you think my big ego is holding me back.
You're a great player from a lot. But I'm playing, it's cold here in New Jersey. I've come down to Jamaica to come watch that game. Let's work on getting Des down to Jamaica.
Listen, if Desmond Douglas tells me he want to come to Jamaica, we will host him. We will host him. All right.
So that's one. The second thing I want to touch on is the Formula One last week.
Yes.
I think there's a simple solution. It is what it is, and I agree with most of the points that were made by both Dale and Kane and yourself. But what I think should happen in the future, and I think they're going to be looking at it, is whenever there's an accident, because your teammate can create an accident,
Yes, I looked into that. Yes.
Right. If we're watching Formula One over the years, whenever there's an accident, and I've seen Max benefit from it more than one time, you bring all the cars together, even if the leading car was leading by 40 seconds, everybody come back bunched up together. What a simple solution, Peter and team, what I think that they need to do is that whatever the amount of seconds that you're leading by, when there's
the gap should have been restored.
Yes. Start back at the same, because that is the only fair way to do it.
Yes.
You spend 57 laps.
Yeah.
Leading by 12 seconds.
Yes.
An accident bring you back to within a second of the first. Something doesn't look
with
right.
With fresh tires, it was a manipulation.
Yes, point.
It's a manipulation, but what could happen is that your teammate could accidentally go wide and crash,
Yes.
and bring you back.
True.
It can be staged. So I think let's talk about solution. A solution is that whatever you're leading by or whatever, because it's easy to calculate where the distance is and the amount of seconds you're leading by when there's
the lead is on the computer.
Yes,
the lead is on the computer.
Everything is recorded and
the race. I think what you need to do is to start back at the same thing, and you won't have this situation. But I predict as I wrap up that Lewis Hamilton will be back come next year. He'll be back, and it's gonna be a great year for Formula One.
Yeah.
All right.
At this stage, because this brings a lot of interest to Formula One
Yes.
for 2022.
The media know
Yes.
what they're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Point
The media,
taken.
I feel like the media know what they're doing. They're hyping it up for next year. All this drama.
Yes.
Sports is all about drama and entertainment to them. To us, the competitors.
You made
Yeah, to us, the competitors, we are like, oh, we're being robbed.
Yeah.
But they don't really care. It's going to hype
They're
up.
making some money.
I'm going to
Yeah.
watch Keely next year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure other people will. And I'm going to drive up viewership, drive up sales, drive up everything. More money for the
Everything will
sport.
go up.
Everything gonna go up.
It made us getting a little dull.
Precise. If Lewis Hamilton had won, viewership would have dropped.
Okay. All right. I agree with
I
that.
don't want to take over the whole program.
Point taken, Keith.
Keep up the great work. I think that you guys are doing a great job. And I think that this for 2022, this program you'll have to look about extending it over an hour. It's only 10 minutes to go and the program will be over.
All right, Keith.
But it's
Point.
very interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Sagar.
That's a good point by Keith there in terms of and I know Formula One they're looking to make some adjustments for the new season in terms of the car. They're changing the car, the features of the car
Evolution.
as well.
Desmond, what do you feel? Do you feel that Sir Lewis was robbed?
I thought it wasn't right. I mean, once the crash happened, that's where the problem started. Everything was out of his hands, out of his control. My worry is, what happens if a similar thing happens again? Do they do what they did then, or do they stick to the correct rules?
Yeah.
That's going to be the
Rules
problem.
just set out and
Even
put
if
in
they
place.
started bunched up, I wouldn't mind as long as the cars that were in between were left there. Then he would have to work him way out. Even with the faster tires, he would not have won.
No.
But by them moving those cars out of the way and not even allowing him to be worried about who coming behind him,
Yeah.
There's nobody coming behind him because the bunch is behind him.
Yeah.
So why unbunch just the two?
No, they
This is
had, they had to unbunch only the two because if they didn't do it, the race would have ended with a safety
So
car.
what?
Lewis would have
So
won.
what?
That's why
So
I'm saying
what?
it's manipulation.
Yeah, it's manipulation.
Yes,
That's my
yes,
point.
Yes.
I think once they started neck and neck, because one had fresh tires, more grip,
Yes.
the other one had old tires, no grip.
Yes.
Lewis didn't have a chance.
He had no chance. I agree.
No chance,
Pit
no
after
chance.
the crash,
Eh.
Max pit after the crash, not before the crash. After
I
the
know,
crash.
They made a call.
So you know that Red Bull,
Red Bull,
calculating what
it looks so manipulated.
Was it
Yes.
really a crash then?
Well,
I mean,
as Keith
it's a
said
crash,
before,
but
because his teammate kind of hold out Lewis a couple times.
Somebody crashed there in the test drive before,
Yeah,
It's a problem spot.
It's a problem track
But I'm
as well.
saying, sports entertainment. This is going
Yeah.
to drive up sales. Lewis Hamilton feel it. The supporters feel it. But
Well,
we're going to watch next year. It's going to be back. But I'm sure it's going
The
to.
director
Hold on,
goes
wait, I
step
Hold on
down,
one second.
we'll be watching Formula One.
Our next caller.
Somebody have to pay the price.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Primal.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Primal, caller. Hello.
Yeah, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so Formula 1 yesterday, Sonio.
Oh, no, what's up on you? Last week, Formula One. Yeah.
Last week, Formula 1, I did call it, but I wasn't expecting it the way it was.
Yeah. You pick Verstappen. Yeah, I remember
Yes,
you calling
pick-
picking
pick-
Verstappen.
pick Max.
Good one, but I wasn't expecting the way it showed. It went down.
Yeah.
I've been having conversations about this, and it's not, it's heartfelt, but at the same time, to end the race, a race of that magnitude, with a safety car,
Yeah.
it cannot take the sting out of the whole idea. And I think that's what the stewards are looking at to say, boy, let's just have a shootout.
Yeah.
Oh, so you want to break the rules for a shootout?
Yeah, that's not their job. Their job is not entertainment. Their job is safety. So I disagree. Safety car, safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really breaking the rules, because those rules that were being protected under, they account at the board. And
Section 18.3 you're talking about.
it is up that politics and yeah, being account to. At the end of the day, it's up to the steward whether they can allow cars to pass or not. So it's always a counter to it. They're going to counter to both rules. Hence the reason why
To who they want to benefit from the rule.
I'll tell you this: they're gonna lose fans if this happen again. I can mark my words. They're gonna lose a lot of fans if this happen again.
Because you can create, this can replicate very easy.
Yes.
Just crash.
Yeah.
Just somebody crash.
Yes, this is not.
It happens a lot
I know
in-
what Kane is saying is true in terms of the drama, this is okay. I understand Kane's point, but if this happens again, they're gonna lose fans.
I don't think it won't happen again, you know, that's for sure.
How we know?
But I think
You mean
How you know?
they won't do it again?
they won't do it again.
No, man, this was done.
So you felt that this was done in the benefit of Max, or it was just coincidence? Your
I'm
opinion?
not going to say it was done in the benefit of Max. I said it was done to see what will happen at the end of the race, because it's kind of both persons making a bad judgment call. Mercedes got the chance to pick Max, pick Lewis, and didn't. They got 2 chances to pick him and didn't.
Yeah.
This is before the crash
That's it.
or after the crash?
Before and after, they got 2 chances to pick and didn't.
No, well, caller. 1 second, caller. Even after the crash, it was calculated by Mercedes and Lewis. They know that they would have won
They had
under
a
safety
14
car.
plus second lead,
Yeah,
so they would have won.
Even commentators were saying that Lewis had it in the bag.
It's times were bad, but if Lewis had gone in,
You can't look at it that way, boss. You cannot look at it that way.
If he had, why would he go in and he had
You
it in the
have a
bag?
15-second lead and you have 2 laps to go,
Yeah.
3 laps to go. There was no reason to do a pit stop unless you knew it was going to come down to a shootout. Nobody knew.
Yeah, and
I disagree.
and O'Neill, it is obvious that the principal of Red Bull knew what was going to take place.
He knew what was going to happen.
It was obvious. It was obvious. You know, he's shouting out on the radio that I need a miracle. I need a miracle. That's what he was saying earlier in the race.
I mean, and everything that happened is good for TV and radio, because you can see we're speaking
No,
about
we're talking
Now we're
F1,
talking
yeah.
about F1 the whole show. So they're right on point.
What
I'm
has
telling
become
you.
of football?
Because I'm now in the media and I understand.
Yes.
I mean, if I was Lewis Hamilton, I'd feel away, but I'm not the one in the driver's seat. I'm in this driver's seat and we're talking about it and it's good for TV.
Yes.
That's what they're doing, the media and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, next year going to drive up sales, drive up viewership, and I mean, but as a purist and as we as competitors and players of the sport, we don't like it.
Yeah.
We as Sir Des said earlier, level playing field.
Yeah.
For me and you to compete and you get an unfair advantage. I mean,
Yeah.
we won't take that victory,
Yeah,
or we won't
okay.
like that
Yeah,
victory,
yeah.
so to say. It would
Yeah.
feel like,
Yeah.
you know,
Any
unsportsmanlike.
game that the referee is blowing the whistle too much, or the umpire is stopping the play,
Yeah.
calling serves and all that, is not a good game.
Yeah.
Let the players play.
Yeah. Let them play.
And let the drivers drive.
Let the drivers drive. Level playing field.
Thank you, O'Neill.
Thank you, O'Neill. Thank you for your call and your opinion.
You know, before we move on from this, you know, I think that Max is a dirty driver.
Yes, I watch him drive too.
I think Max
yes.
Verstappen is a dirty driver, and I think his team overall is dirty.
I mean, you have to have some
That's my
dark
opinion,
horse.
based on history.
Based on his driving.
He's driving,
Yeah.
and look at what the principal did. That was blatant, you know. That, you know, if it was this side of the world, you know, it would have been fined, you know.
Yeah.
Of course.
I said the American side were different from
Hey, but let me tell you something.
Western
though.
side.
You guys watch the race live? You watch
I
race live?
didn't watch it live.
You see that little few seconds when they were having the race out and him pass him? That was exciting though, man, tell you the truth. It was exciting. Whoever you're cheering for.
Yes.
When I saw Max come behind Lewis and Lewis tried to prevent him and then him pass him.
Yeah.
And then Lewis tried to pass 2 more times
Yeah.
and never passed. And you
big
heard the
drivers.
roar of the crowd.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Two
Yes.
big drivers.
But
Two
it's
big-
not fair.
Who
It's
know
not
who the
fair.
champ is? Champ, no champ.
The real champ is Sir Lewis. We don't know that.
And I mean, he wanted to break the record, good for 8.
Yes,
Schumacher,
yes.
he's tied for 7 with Schumacher. We all
Yeah.
know, once you know Formula 1, Schumacher is the name, but Lewis Hamilton.
He's past Schumacher now because he
Second on the podium.
Yeah.
he's past Schumacher.
But you know, you want that
But he's the
8th
greatest
title.
of all time.
You want
Greatest of
that
all
8th
time.
title to settle all.
There's
What-
one.
what's the reception?
Sorry, there's one. I'm sorry to ask you.
Yeah, go.
Sir Desmond, will any British? Do you think in your lifetime a British player will eclipse you as the greatest of all time?
Yeah, it's quite possible. Look, I won 10 English closed. I was in, I think, already 11, and I was in 10 finals consecutively, and I lost the 10th one. and I came back on one to make it 11. As I said before, I've put the bar at a certain level. These guys know now there's something to aim at. And people like Pitchford and Drinkle, they're quite capable. They've got the tools. Now they've just got to have the belief.
What do you think of the Nigerian Quadri Aruna? Quadri Aruna, before him, Segun Toriola was the next best black player on earth. And now I think Aruna is eclipsing Toriola. But do you think these guys will get to where you got to this?
That's difficult to say because the Chinese are probably more dominant now, I think, than before. Everywhere you look, there's a Chinese player. So to me, it's not about sort of eclipsing me. It's eclipsing who's in front of you, which is not just a Chinese. It's everybody can play now. Everybody's good. This is the problem. The countries we used to beat easily, now they're virtually beating us. Everybody can play.
No, that you said that you think the sport is easier now than back in your time because of the less spin and the less craft in the game? You think it's easier now?
I wouldn't say it's easier because
force.
These guys have grown up with this ball. This is all they know. You see, so I wouldn't say it's easier, but this is what they know. So to them, this is normal. But to us, we were playing a different game.
Let me cut you again, Sir Desmond. Do you think an 11-year-old back in your time could have beaten a top 10 player like what Harry Motor did?
No. Harry Motor was fantastic.
That's my point that I'm getting at. That's my point.
Yeah, you're looking at a dream. That's very, very rare. Harry Motor was very good. I saw him when he was about 15, I think, and he was good then. And his sister's good as well.
Good thing you raised that, Desmond. I'm going to ask you a question and probably get you in a little bit of trouble here. Desmond, men players work so much harder than women players. Do you think women players should get the same amount of prize money as men?
I would say yes. I would say yes because you've got to treat them as equal. They're not playing men against women. They're playing in their own field. So they're good within their own sport. It's like a woman driver and a man driver. You can't treat them
different
against each other like in the way you're thinking. You've got to treat them respectively. That's the way to do it. And they'll bring up their sport for the women just like the men. But you can't put man against woman. I don't think that's really the way to look at it. You've got to look at a woman and a man as a man, rather than this argument all the time. The men, more people come to see the men, so they should get more than the women. The women are good, in their own field.
Or Desmond, we could pay the men in British pounds and pay the women in Jamaica dollars.
No,
equal.
I'm joking. I'm on for equality.
Point taken. They're different. Point taken.
Yes.
They're different. So they have to be treated differently.
You play with
You wouldn't put a woman to fight Mike Tyson, would you?
No.
Oh,
yeah. So in agreement. No, guys. Well, we'll come to the end of another exciting show. It was a pleasure, Sir Des.
I hope you enjoyed your time with us. We definitely.
And as I said, we have an open invitation for you to come here and play with us. All right.
Right.
The weekend is on us.
Yeah.
Well, join us next week for Primal Christmas edition. I don't promise you that that Kane will be in a Santa Claus suit, but join us next week, same time, and let's get the party going.
Yes. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a great Christmas, guys.
All right, thanks, Desmond. Great to meet you.
One love from Primal team.
Okay, thank you. Bye, guys.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.